We've been having fun with this Tuesday Takeover idea, where we give the show over to a different person who works on the show each week. They get 2 segments to do with what they want. That's what we learned about Greg's juicy confession, that he went to great lengths to try to get that Playgirl with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, me and everybody else.
Yeah, Randy had a really fun segment. We had, who else went? Julianne with that game.
Played the game.
Called Watch Your Mouth.
Yeah, Watch Your Mouth. That was last week. And then we have Bort, who's ready to go this week. Next week, I think we decided that it's going to be fake news.Cameron.
Cam.
Wow.
Cool.
Ready. Man.
Yeah, so we'll have that for you next week. But this week, it's all about you, Bort.
Hell yeah.
All right, so Bort is our production guy. He's normally in the dimly lit room right next to where our studio is.
I actually do judge.
I know
you see
you
a lot
do.
of facial expressions and thumbs down and stuff from back there.
For those of you who aren't all that familiar with Bort, maybe you're a new listener of the show. So he does all like our production stuff, audio, editing, things like that we need. As you can imagine, as a radio show, we have a lot of that stuff. But he himself wears a vest every day, like a denim vest.
Yes.
Some kind of heavy metal T-shirt underneath that vest, black jeans, boots.
A lot of buttons.
Of course. He's got long hair, wallet chain. Looks like he stepped right out of like a Spinal Tap or something.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that.
Yeah. He's recently married to a nice young lady who works at a mortuary. She embalms people for a living.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they hang out in cemeteries for fun.
Remember, death takes no holiday.
He likes Transformers toys. He collects Transformers toys.
Yeah.
He likes comic books and
I'm
video
being
games.
honest. Yeah.
He's into all that stuff. Wrestling. He's a big wrestling fan.
Yeah, all about it.
See, and all those things I took into account with this Tuesday Takeover because I was thinking, well, wrestling, that only takes a certain demographic, or Star Wars or Transformers or all the other goofy, weird stuff I like.
He considers himself to be geek, not nerd.
Yeah.
This is true.
There's a difference.
I'm slightly cooler.
Yeah,
Sorry, except for
strategy.
Randy.
Thank you.
Way cooler than Cameron. But the one thing that I do think that I do very well on the show, and if you guys remember from my wedding invites list, I'm very good at being honest.
Ooh.
And I want the rest of you to be honest as well, brutally honest to a fact.
Okay.
So I want you all to play a game. I want you all to be Bortly honest.
Okay.
Bortly honest.
Bortly
Yes.
honest.
Okay.
So the game is, I have 10 cards here. Every single person on the show, you will choose a number. Someone from the show is on this list. You have to be brutally honest about them. It could be mean. It could be serious. It could be concerning. It could be any of those things, but you have to be brutally honest.
How about brutally loving?
You can be brutally loving.
Not bad.
However, there's 2 rules to this game. 1, if you cannot answer, the other person can steal and be brutally honest with you.
Okay.
So you got to get them before they get you.
Wait, so let's say I pick a number, right?
Yeah.
And that number is Greg.
Right.
Okay, so I would have to say something brutally honest about Greg.
Right.
And if I chose not to, he would then have the opportunity to say something brutally honest about me.
Yep.
And then just in general, you just say something brutally honest?
Maybe you have something that you've been thinking about, because I think sometimes we kind of skirt around a lot of issues. Maybe we're concerned about somebody. Maybe we're just annoyed with somebody.
All right, give me an example. You do one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fake news. You're my example.
Go figure.
Okay.
Fake news. I'm going to be brutally honest with you.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I think your dream is to be a fancy redneck. That is your dream.
Ooh.
Fancy redneck.
A fancy redneck. Because you don't want to say that you're a redneck. However, the idea that you want to live in a tiny house that could be mobile and everything you do is kind of redneck-ish, throwing axes while you're drunk, I mean, things like that. I think you just want to be a redneck and just be fancy with it, though.
Oh.
He wants to be a redneck without the title of redneck.
Yeah.
A bougie redneck.
Bougie redneck.
I accept your honesty.
See?
All right,
I get to call him a bougie redneck forever.
Okay, got it.
So,
all right.
However, if your answer sucks, and I think you're
popping out.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I get to talk, be brutally honest on you guys.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
All right.
Okay.
I like it.
All right.
This is my kind of game.
Right.
Indeed.
All right.
So, let's start with Greg.
Okay.
Pick a
All
number.
right.
1 to 10.
7.
7. All right.
Ooh.
Greg,
Yes.
you have young Michael.
I have young Michael. Funny that he pops up, because I was just talking to him yesterday about how he barely speaks. And he admitted that he's not a talker. And I said that probably bodes well for you in certain situations. I wish I was less of a talker, because it gets me into trouble sometimes. But my Bortly honest, he not only doesn't talk a lot, he's socially awkward. Like he makes Seabass look like a delight.
Yeah.
So he's Seabass Jr.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, who would have ever thought this someone makes Seabass a delight?
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, we're not saying he's creepy like
No, he's
Seabass.
not creepy
No,
at
not
all.
creepy.
Not true.
He's
Also
so
about me.
quiet that it's awkward because he's so quiet.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
he's
he
not-
makes it awkward.
He's not weird.
Yeah.
He's not unlikable, but he's so damn quiet.
Dude, young Michael could
That-
show up to like a Halloween party and just hang out there and
Yeah.
not speak to anybody, and he would be the talk of the party. Because then he could just leave
Yeah.
and be like,
Yeah.
who was that guy?
And yet he smiles
And he'd
all
have the
time.
best
Yeah.
time because
Yeah.
he wouldn't have to talk to anybody.
Totally.
See,
Yeah.
he's the one guy that you don't want to upset because he could just, go kind of crazy on you and maybe start yelling at you or freak out on you.
Yeah, I don't know if he's crazy. I don't think
No.
he's crazy.
It doesn't come off like that. Just,
no,
Yeah.
just
does-
in like, what's the word? Immeasurably quiet.
All right.
Like
Yeah.
so quiet.
Well, this is
that
the guy,
it's-
by the way, who had to look up online how to order a coffee at a Starbucks type place without looking like a
Yeah.
tool.
That's
How
right.
do
Okay.
you do
Yeah,
it?
So,
yeah.
I mean, he's got like a anxiety, like a crippling
Right.
anxiety.
Right.
Yeah.
We say this all out of love, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of
you
course.
just got to
Nothing
initiate
negative.
the conversation with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Greg
all.
didn't say he hated him.
No,
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
not at all.
Awkwardly quiet.
Yeah.
Not like Seabass.
All right,
I
who's
don't hate
next?
Seabass.
Woody,
All right.
pick a number 1 through 9.
Let's go 3.
3? All right. You get Menace.
Oh, great.
Menace.
There we go. I was like, anybody but me. I think this thing is rigged.
Oh man, where do I start? Bortly honest about Menace. This is all stuff that I've said to Menace, though.
I know.
Yeah.
Say it again.
I think Menace is really truly like just kind of more of like a happy-go-lucky guy, but I think there's some kind of like, I think there's some deep-rooted insecurity in there somewhere that a lot of the stuff that he does, I think, is out of a concern what other people will, or how people will perceive him, or how people will think about Menace.
For
I
example,
know that you absolutely want that to be true, but it's not.
You mean like the pandering and stuff?
Well, I'm just saying, like, I think there's a certain element, and I don't know where it comes from, and I have no idea. It could be like something, he'd have to go to like a therapy or whatever to figure out, like, maybe where, like, was it a childhood thing? Was it something like, because look, I mean, working in radio, we work with people who, none of us were really the cool kids. You're either just
Right.
kind of like in the middle somewhere, or maybe nerds, or whatever. And now, like, you have this position where it's cooler. You know what I mean? But now it's like you're making up for lost time. There's a lot of people like that. I'm not saying Menace is totally like that, but there's an element to that where, I think he is super concerned about other people's thoughts and opinions and like their image of him.
I
I'm just being
totally
honest.
disagree.
I love you to death. You're one of my best friends. I love you, but
I think you're projecting, honestly. For real, 1,000,000,000%.
Ooh.
okay. I'm just being
Yeah.
Bortly honest.
All right. I accept that answer. With that said, Menace, you're up next.
Oh, great. Here we go.
1 through 8.
8.
Ooh, you get Randy.
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 Randall. All right.
Now keep in mind, if this isn't good, Randy can come in here and be honest with you.
All right. I think I absolutely love Randy. Randy is the greatest. But the number one thing is he just does not listen. Like, you tell him something and it's like out the door within 5 seconds. Like,
Literally.
if you give him a plan on things to do, he goes off that plan within like 2 seconds. And I don't know why. I have to tell him something like 5 different times
That's what I've been
for it
saying.
to go through.
I just want to say Randy's
You know?
mom.
I'm like, dude, what happened to the list of things I told you to do? He's like, oh, I decided to do this. I'm like, I didn't tell you to do that.
It's like
You
he
know?
born with no ears.
I think that's why, like, number one beef, but he is definitely a hard worker. If he just stays on track, that's all. He's not a good listener at all.
I've experienced it. I love Randy to death, but
Right.
I could tell him anything. He'll come back 5 seconds and say, hey, did you hear about this? Randy, I just told you about
told
it.
you.
Yeah.
Myself.
Wow.
From
Parents
my
did that.
mouth.
told you.
Yeah, parents do that all the time.
I
Yeah.
keep thinking everyone says we need to get Menace a brain scan. Can we get
It-
Randy
Oh,
a brain
yeah,
scan?
a 2 for 1.
Yeah, and then
2 for 1.
compare the
2 for 1 brain
both.
scan.
Double brain
Don't you
scan.
guys both have the same doctor now or something?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Who's next?
Ravy.
Number 1.
Number 1 is
Seabass.
Seabass.
Yeah, he is.
Mm.
Seabass.
him sexually.
If
This is gonna be tough.
if I'm being Bortly honest about Seabass, I like him. I like everything he does for the show. But I would say, and this is probably just me projecting, but I think he leads a very hollow and shallow existence. Like, I almost feel bad for him. Like, he doesn't seem to have, like, any love, his life to me seems so empty.
I totally know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think, do you know what I mean, Woody?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't make any connections on even just a base level. You know what I mean?
I absolutely know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, does
Almost-
he have any true friends? Does
Right.
he have
Right.
anybody that he
Or does he
considers
even
himself
want to?
close to?
Right.
Like, I don't know
Or
if
is
he
he an
even
island?
wants to.
Yeah.
We're asking these questions like he's not standing
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, I was thinking about
I mean,
that
you are
recently.
standing right
And
now.
any thoughts?
I think we broke him.
I was thinking about that recently, especially like when you talk about like close friends.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are since I moved here for the show. I don't really have. I guess I haven't made that a priority because I'm either when I'm not working, I'm either doing work out, projects and taping stuff or whatever, or slamming. And once the slam goes away, they don't then
Allegedly.
they don't have the opportunity really to then become
See?
a friend.
Doesn't that seem so empty and shallow?
And so I'm not like searching out male friends, for instance, and I'm never friends with my ex-female friends. So there's not like a buildup of new friends. Like I have friends coming out here from Atlanta in January. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
And
But-
what will you do?
Oh, we're gonna need a bunch of like go to the Price is Right, but it's for a bachelor party. So
Okay.
and like I went to Vegas last year for friends for a bachelor party.
Yeah.
But I'm not making any new friends out here, like I said, because that's just not how I'm spending my time.
Mm-hmm. See, I
Now, do
think
you
I nailed
feel?
it.
Do you feel like
I think you did.
any sense of loneliness or emptiness?
Well, no, there's always a new slam around the corner.
See? It's a slam, but that's
Yeah.
not a connection. It's
Yeah.
just a
Right.
slam.
Well, recently I've had one former slam who's been trying to like be my friend.
Yeah.
I
No interest.
mean, she's fun and nice and everything, but I don't want to like be friends. Like we still end up hooking up anyway.
Right.
It all goes back to that, doesn't
Yep.
it?
It does.
Yeah.
In
You
that
can
respect.
never-
Yet
you can never
another
get like
humble
a-
brag.
Yeah, you can never get like a.
Right, exactly.
You can never get
That
your-
is an exact
You're right,
depiction
Cameron.
of what's happening.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
Cameron nailed it.
Yeah.
You can never get a real read.
We get it. You're straight. We get it.
Allegedly.
Yeah. All right, who's next there, Bort?
All right, Seabass, you're up next.
What number was Randy?
Eight.
I get it.
What's left? Like 2, 3, 4. I'll take whatever's left. Just give me a random one.
You got 6 numbers.
Go
Pick
random.
one.
Bort's choice.
2.
Dealer's
Yeah.
choice.
Dealer's choice.
2, you get Gregory.
Damn it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Rep.
To be Bortly honest about Greg, something that maybe hasn't been said. Well, we've said this, but I think it needs to be said in a serious way, and not necessarily in the context of the show where he might be joking around.
Jeez.
Greg needs to get help with his neuroses. Like he's seriously, there's no reason, and I believe they're true. I don't think he's faking them by any means. There's no reason a grown man needs to be afraid of ladybugs.
Yeah.
There's no reason a grown man needs to be afraid of flying.
Truth.
Yeah.
Thousands, millions of people do it every day. These are, I was just watching a video this morning of this little like 4-year-old girl with these toads that were the size of her forearm.
Ooh.
And she had 3 of them, just like holding them, like petting them,
Yeah.
giving them little kisses. And I was thinking, like, man, Greg would, first off, he wouldn't go within 30 feet of those
No,
toads.
I'd pass out.
And here's a 4-year-old girl just like having the time of her
Right.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toting
Yeah.
out.
So I would suggest, Greg,
Okay.
some sort of therapy, professional wise.
Okay.
And I'm willing to give you a gift card toward that. I know you're cheap and you want to.
No,
Wow.
I think you're totally right. I used to do therapy and it helped, so I think I should probably get back into it for other reasons.
Well,
So
look,
I-
there's
I-
there's not a person.
I totally accept
By the
that.
way, there's not a person on earth who couldn't benefit from some type
Of course.
Right.
therapy.
Yeah.
Just having a third party,
Right.
unbiased like person.
I think, Greg,
just
you were-
to hear you out.
You were
Right.
looking into like fear
Yeah.
of flying classes, right?
Yes, and I have taken the first steps. I've taken the quiz and I went off the charts. So, and I've located one near me. So I think that's
Ah,
next because
okay.
we do have to fly a lot for the show.
Yep.
And we have a trip next month that I'm already losing sleep over
Oh no.
for a 45-minute flight.
Wow.
and I can't even fathom flying.
Now, if only you could
ever
figure out our
again.
insurance, you could find
Yeah.
a therapist.
Getting.
True.
This
Well,
is-
I appreciate that.
This is the
Thank
most considerate Seabass has ever been over.
I
Greg.
know, right?
Yeah.
Is he trying to have a friend?
you.
I don't
appreciate
know.
No.
I don't know.
Is it an olive ranch?
All right, fake news. Cameron, pick a card.
4.
Ooh, 4. You get Julie on the phone screen.
Oh.
Tread lightly.
So I really like Julianne. I feel like we get along really well. I think she's a good mom. She seems to do a lot of fun stuff with her kids. And she, like me, she texted me recently and asked if I had gone to a new axe throwing place because she had a connection.
Yeah.
And so she seems to have a lot of fun with life. She's always doing stuff. That being said, one of the things that her and I bump heads with about all the time is just if I ask her to do something that involves work or just have a note or direction,
Wait, can I guess what the response is?
she gets so offended.
I'm not your slave.
She gets
Right.
so offended by it.
Like what?
Like, oh, do you mind, sending me this note? Well, I was going to. It's like, I know I'm not saying you weren't. Just can you send it to me? But I think that's my brutal honesty for Julianne. My Bortly honest.
Bortly honest.
My
for
Bortle?
Julianne.
Demeanor
Bortle?
My Bortle.
Yeah, definitely a demeanor issue with Julia.
And since Julianne got brought up quickly, Julianne, come on in.
Damn.
And
It's going down for real.
yeah.
tell me to come in.
Yeah.
I'll come in here if I want to.
Get it?
This was Bort segment. Why are you telling me to come in?
I'll do what I want.
All right, so you get to pick a card since.
Ooh.
1 through 4.
All right.
Oh, damn.
And then this is it.
First
Then we
of
got to
all, you
wrap
guys
up.
need to calm down.
Oh,
All right, I get cards number what?
Just pick a card out of that deck.
1 through 4.
1 through 4. Okay, 4. Cameron!
I steal your pens, I know. I've been told.
Everyone's pens.
Yeah.
So, I mean, agreed. Same thing with Cameron. I do love Cameron. I think he's great. Sometimes he does bug me, get under my skin. And it does. It has to do, like, when you do tell me to do something that I already am in the process of doing. And so I could be, when we cut to commercial, I have to go and tell everyone, okay, we'll be right with you. We'll be right with you. And Cameron comes out, hey, make sure you tell everybody we'll be right with them. I'm like, I know that. So little things like that is probably the only thing that bugs me about Cameron. But besides that, I
Really?
think it's
You need
great.
some help?
Yeah. We'll give you a list.
I think it's great that he does, he does all these things with his girlfriend. You guys all make fun of him trying to say he's hipster, but I think he's just trying to get out there and be fun with his life.
The
Oh,
new
babe.
token for him is a bougie redneck. Okay.
Yeah, bougie redneck.
Bougie
He's not a hipster.
Oh, and I don't
Yeah.
like it when I go to him confidently or not confidently, confidentially
Mm-hmm.
with something. And then I find out he tells other people on the show.
He's a leaker.
And then it
Oh,
gets back
there's a
to
leak.
somebody else.
Tell me
no.
all Julianne's
Leak.
secrets.
So
Yeah.
that's what,
Oh,
because I feel
jeez.
like I should be going up to him.
Yep.
He's our
Mhm.
producer. I'm supposed to be telling him like things that bother me. And then I find out he tells other people. on the
Producer's
show.
not a therapist.
Oh.
So yeah, but that's it. But I do love you.
Oh, babe.
Like, what's something that you told him that he told other people?
It's not the public's business. It's
Oh,
just
damn.
it's people in the
Oh.
room
Ooh.
that I don't need to be spreading things around.
Oh, since
damn.
when? Since when?
Damn.
That's a cop out.
Do you want to pick another card and complain
Yeah,
about that
no.
person?
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. Nice work, Bort.
Yes.
Tuesday Takeover today.